I'm Louisa Parson. I'm a Navy veteran from the first Gulf War, and I'm doing my second video. Um, my first video was in the series with the VISCOTT method. It's what I've been using for those times in my life where I need to be grounded after I bounce back from my crisis. So it's part of my crisis plan. And in the first video, I was scheduled for an increase in my dosage of my Risperdal from 25 milligrams to 37.5 milligrams. So I'm going to do a little recap about that before I go into the VISCOTT method. I was a little anxious. I could tell by my blood pressure. When they took my blood pressure, it was kind of high. The nurse told me to go to a happy place, and she would take my blood pressure again. And I didn't think it was going to work, but I closed my eyes and I followed her direction, and I imagined myself on a beach. And I haven't been on too many beaches, but just what I've seen. But really, it was like who I wanted to be on a beach with. That was, and lo and behold, my blood pressure went down. So she says, "I told you it would work." And I was like, you wouldn't believe where I imagine. I need to go. I need to go to that place more often. So, um, hmm. So this is kind of like my check-in. Um, the day's events. So I had the shot, and then and then I didn't know like what to do next, other than I had something of immediate attention that I had to go to Walgreens for, um, and then I had to go by the smoke shop to get a carton of cigars. And then I went and got me some donut holes. And I actually was going to stop by the MVPN, which is the Military Veterans Peer Network here in town. And I brought bought 3 dozen donut holes. But when I got there, the coordinator wasn't there. So I headed out to, I was just driving. I went by the Salvation Army, and I thought, I'll just go book shopping before I need to go to my meeting at 11, my chronic pain meeting. And lo and behold, it was too early. I was early because I took my shot early, so I was roaming around town with nothing to do, and I got this bright idea. It's like, well, since I have this, time, let me go ahead and register for class for this fall semester and get that out of the way. Oh my gosh. Hmm. Well, like it is always, going, for me, I have never registered for class and it be so simple. And yeah, I found out I was on financial aid suspension from the last time that I was enrolled because I had dropped a class and it affected my academic success plan. And so once again, it affected my financial aid. So I'm like, great. Now I'm going to have to find another, there's a process. And last time I went through the process, it took a whole semester. So the last time I had, to get an alternative funding. But I've had allocated this funding for, um, I've allocated this funding for another training that I really want in my career track, because that's where my passion is, and that's to be a veteran certified peer specialist. So I went back to my job skills training program location called FaithWorks, and yeah, that calmness that I had early in the morning had, was inside. But I noticed through the day I had the energy to move, to go from location to location and, take care of things. And, but I sat down with the social, and they had a new social worker. And so it was like, great, that's what I need to be able to sit down with a social worker because that's how I think. I if I can sit down in front of a social worker and we can do some mapping and look at all my options and see what it was, just to put it down on paper and say what's important, what's important, and I needed to talk to them anyway about some other funding, um, that I needed for my job track anyway. So needless to say, I came out of there peaceful. Like, I've done all I can do today, you know. And it was about noon, and I went back to where my meeting was supposed to be, and they had already finished, but they were like sitting talking, so it was kind of like, the good stuff where you just sit and talk. And home base, I like to call it. And I left there, and I just got in my mind, I'm going to go home and relax. And I had other things planned for the day, but that was enough. Like, I'm not going to push it. I wasn't going to push it. I can table stuff till tomorrow. And so there was a sense of clarity. And, mindful, like I had just gotten that shot early in the morning. So it's like, and it was an injection. So I imagine this was, immediately in my, and it's done in your muscle, my hip and everything. So, but I felt it. I felt, at my peer support mentioned, he goes, I thought you were taking this in order to be able to sleep. And I was like, no, it's to balance, it's for mood stabilization, you know. And I had a grasp on it, you know. I I had a grasp on it. I didn't lose my cool today considering of the circumstances. But that was just a check-in to lead to, if you'll see what's scrolling on the screen, my topic. I am resilient and obedient to God's timing. And in using the VISCOTT method, we're doing my survey tape. And the next question is, the previous tape was describe yourself. And this one is, what kind of person are you? So, what kind of person am I? For the most part, I believe I'm very fun. I believe I'm playful and frivolous, which, it's kind of hard. And it's kind of hard to take me seriously at times because I have that look about me. That I don't know. I have to dress up to be taken seriously. I have to pull my hair back. Let me get it all tucked in. It's not tucked in. Right? I have to pull my hair back. I have to, present myself, professionally to be taken seriously. And then I have to, have this tone about me, but deep down inside, I'm just all about fun. The lighter side of life, and there's a lot of in my life. It's like a lot of things are serious. I mean, living with bipolar and PTSD is a serious matter, but you can take it in a lighthearted tone. And it's days like, today when all I wanted to do is like, really? You really gonna do this, And so I constantly battle with this this inner child that I have that, it's like, let's play. And then having to be an adult, it's a constant battle. But, today was an example where I managed it well. I didn't throw a temper tantrum like I wanted to. I wanted to get on the floor and just cry. Like, really? Why won't you give me what I want? What I have to do to get what I want, So, but I came home and relaxed. I won't be specific about how I relaxed, but I did meet with a friend. I call him he's just my happy place. And in the back of my mind, I did have things to do. But what, it came back to what was relevant. And that's when you're doing goal setting, there's like, it's called SMART, specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time oriented. And that relevant, um, why am I doing this? And I'm one to be relevant. A lot of people call it like having an agenda, you know. Um, like I'm what people kind of always say, why do you always have a plan? Because things are relevant to me. That's why. And I am very goal oriented. It's like, why does everything have to be something, you know? Well, because I do. I have a plan, and it's important for things that I do today to be relevant. Um, I call it the end game. And I come across, like, I know in relationships that's hard to it can cause it's caused some tension in my past relationships, just because I've been with people that aren't relevant. They're just like flopping around and don't have a path, you know. So wandering around aimlessly. And now what I know about being in the military, that's not good. It's like, where are you going? Where are you going, sailor? Where's your point A to point B? Don't be lollygagging around. Go from point A to point B. So part of my military, part of my military training, my my mindset is A to B. You know, how do I get there? So I am very goal oriented. I am relevant, and that's where my resiliency comes in. Um, you put an obstacle in front of me, and I see my end game, and I'm like, well, how am I gonna get across this barrier? Um, and I've been like that since I was a child, from the very beginning, when I was crawling. I had a story where it was over at my grandmother's house. We were visiting, and my grandmother had a dog named Skippy, and she was a collie. And my favorite thing to do was to eat out of Skippy's bowl. I just, I was a kid, a little baby and everything. And and Skipper she was like, just treating me like one of her puppies, and says, "Sure, you can eat out of my bowl." And my parents barricaded the kitchen with chairs and stuff, so I couldn't get past, get into the kitchen. but I would crawl in between the chair legs and end up in the kitchen to get to my goal. And they were like, "What is wrong with this baby?" So it's in me. If you put a barrier in front of me, I'm like and I have a goal. I'm I am resilient. I'm gonna figure a way around the barrier. And I've done that my whole life. So it's been 20 minutes. Like I said, I can't watch myself for more than 20 minutes. But just to recap, um, you know, I am resilient, and I do believe strongly that it will all work out in God's timing. Um, but one more time, this is the VISCOTT method, and hence the name David VISCOTT. If you'll look on my through my YouTube playlist, I have I believe I subscribe to one of David Viscott's his video playlist. So so the shot has gone well. I did get the energy that I needed, but then I also had enough had enough focus to stop and relax today and be mindful that I'm in a precarious situation right now where let's not overdo it and let's, you know, let's be calm and know that, with the increase in medication, it's very beneficial, but not get used to it and push it to the level, you know. Yes, I have to work tomorrow and work the weekends. So um, I want to be prepared for the weekend and see how my energy level is and of course, with the hydration really helped a couple of days before the shot and sleep. And so I'm getting to the point where I'm ready to take a nap. So, like I said, you can please. There's usually on all my videos, there's a little icon of me in the little corner. Please subscribe to my channel so that you can keep up to date. And I'm gonna try to put this in a folder. It should be under the mental health folder, and you can follow the series on the VISCOTT method. Okay. Thanks for listening. You guys take care now, okay?